Today, as I have already mentioned in the beginning, the date is 11th May 2021. On this date, we are having one special moment, and for that special moment, we are having with us our Professor Robinson Paul, Professor Ghanshyam Rathod. We have with us your super senior Dhwani Trivedi, your final year student, and we have with us Rutvik Patel, who is also your final year student. So I request Professor Robinson Paul to share the uh, poster and introduce about this special occasion.
Sir, the slide is visible?
Yes, yes, visible.
Okay. As I am in full screen mode, so I'm unable to. Okay. Okay. So, good evening to all the dear students, head of the department, Bhargav sir, and Professor Ghanshyam Rathod sir. This we just uh, within few days we thought about to celebrate a National Technological Day, and I think this is the one of the good initiative which some of the time very important days in our day-to-day life we forget, and sometimes maybe we don't give the very importance how we want to give it, which help us to motivate us in the domain of technology and to do certain good things for the country which needs us, which if I quote for the title of this time 2020, which is for Science and Technology for a Sustainable Future. So, not taking much time, just to introduce a brief introduction. This next National Technology Day is celebrated because on, if you remember, on May 11th in 1998, uh, then our Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, with the team which was led by our former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, has tested successfully a nuclear test in Pokhran in Rajasthan. The title was given was Operation Shakti. And later on, the two more nuclear tests were conducted on May 13. So from 1998 onwards, it is decided, it is observed from 1999 onwards that 11th May we will celebrate at the National Technology Day, as India was a part of a nuclear weapon country, which is, if I'm not wrong, is the sixth country which having a nuclear power. So this was done with the President Indian APJ Abdul Kalam, with the support of Indian Army, with the collaboration of DRDO, Bharat Atomic Research Center, which is we represent as a BARC, and another organization of which is known as Atomic Mineral Director of Exploration and Research. So together we have successfully explored these things, and from then onwards we celebrate this day, and President organized scientific and engineering uh, awards on this day. Because of this pandemic, this time we are unaware about the situation, but regularly all the scientists and engineers who have done great work for the nations, they celebrate this day and also award them for their very good research and work. So the purpose of taking this day and to introduce the student is that you may be the students of first year right now, but we as a teachers and the country, we believe that there are lot many APJ Abdul Kalam capable students are there. There are lot many powerful students who can still lead this country in the larger perspective, which in future technological world we will require. So if we remember this day, that how much our forefather has done work for our country, our students who right now in the first year also may be motivated to do good for the country. So this is a basic introduction of National Technological Day. I hope the session will be helpful to motivate you to work further in this domain, and also maybe if you have any doubt regarding technological space, to get guidance from the seniors, this session will be helpful. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Professor Robinson Paul. To support what Robinson sir has said, I request Robinson sir to stop presentation so I can quickly share what he has narrated in his speech. I can present the same in the form of PPT. So quickly, this is the presentation prepared by some school student. I'm just sharing with you. So this is what is the National Technology Day. What Professor Robinson Paul has said, the day is marked the anniversary of Pokhran nuclear test, which was done in 1998. This day is celebrated to highlight the great achievement of nuclear scientists and engineers. That's why we celebrate this day as National Technological Day, right? This was the site. Who invented this project? So as Professor has said, that Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and Dr. Chidambaram, who was the director of Department of Atomic Energy at that time, were the chief coordinator of this test planning. Who were involved? So the great scientists like Dr. K. Sanathanam, then Dr. Anil Kakodkar, Dr. Saninder Kumar Sikka, Dr. M.S. Ramkumar, and there are many other scientists and engineers, those who are part of this team. These are the photograph of those scientists: Dr. Anil Kakodkar, Dr. Saninder, and Dr. K. Sananthanam. So this was the small presentation prepared by some of the school students, and I have just shared. Yes, Robinson, sir, over to you.
Thank you very much, sir. So, apart from that, the basic introduction of National Technological Day, we thought that our alumni is doing excellent in the technological world. Our alumni, our final year student, which is going to graduate soon, they have done very good projects. They have done good recognition from state, national, international level also. So we have called available final year students, which will be going to present about the technology, the domain as of their expertise, and as their suggestion for the first year student, which may be helpful for the students from the beginning onwards, that what type of by chance mistake they have done and they could have rectified in early stages, what are the good steps they have learned, what are the technology they have explored, which they can pass on to the first year students, so they have an overhead on other students and do best. So not wasting much time, I like to call the first student from the final year student. Dhwani, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Yeah, okay. So over to Dhwani.
Okay. So I'll be just sharing a PPT. It just contains some pictures, so it will be
Yes.
fun for students to just look at it. Okay. So hello everyone. Hope everyone is safe and doing well. So today on National Technology Day, I'm so pleased to share my story and how and why I studied electronics and communication engineering. I would be talking a bit about my journey and a few of the major achievements and opportunities I grabbed throughout the 4 years. So, but let me tell you first. When I started, I was as nervous and shy and scared as some of you are right now. But thankfully, because of the right guidance, right mentorship, and some of the great activities and workshops and other events that occurred in my college, I could manage my way through. So in the first year, I got to know about some of the activities that were already happening in the college. Just a second. Is the slide visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Yeah, so in the first year, I got to know about various workshops, various student chapters there were already in my college, in our college, which were, IEEE, ISTE, and IE. Those are some of the chapters that are existing in our college, where, students like us, they gather and they make a sort of a club where, they call various experts from other colleges, from various institutions, from industries, where they can share their knowledge, their current work in, cutting edge technologies and stuff like that. So these are some of the workshops that I first attended when I was in first year. That was the robotics workshop in that was organized by IEEE. The second one was the machine learning workshop, and the third one was the Arduino workshop. So, this is like big. As a starter, I did not have any sort of knowledge about anything as such. So all I did was, just I started attending some technical workshops that were organized. Like these workshops are organized every Saturday, Sunday in our college. So students or various expert faculties, or faculties from other institutions come here, and they talk about and they teach us some of the hands-on projects and stuff. So these were really helpful, and these sort of played a small role when, in deciding on what I want to do and what I'm actually interested in. So the second thing that happened, that, after attending these kind of workshops for almost a semester, I realized that artificial intelligence and electronics and all these technologies are very important when it comes to making breakthrough developments in the society. So what I did was I started reading and learning more and more about artificial intelligence. So this is what, just a second. Yeah. Yeah. So that was sort of an inception of my interest in artificial intelligence. That the first course I took was the machine learning course by Andrew Ng. These are some of the resources, like these are the steps that I followed while, because I started developing an interest in artificial intelligence. This was in the first year. So these are some good resources for the students who would like to sort of start their career, not career, but just to know more and more about AI and machine learning and deep learning and all these amazing technologies. So these were some of the prerequisites or some of the good resources and some of the technologies and mathematics I started learning about. After doing that, I was getting more and more interested. So I applied to various conferences, such as conferences which were internationally very famous, and some of them were like the UNESCO's Mobile Learning Week, which is the United Nations flagship conference that is organized every year, which is the Mobile Learning Week. And fortunately, I was literally the most lucky person to get an opportunity to present and go to UNESCO in Paris, in France, in 2018, where I talked about artificial intelligence in education and ethics. I met a lot of people who, amazing women and men who are already successful in this field, who are working in the field of ICT, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and mobile learning, and all these amazing technologies. So this was sort of a breakthrough in my career, in my journey, where I just decided that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So then I started diving deeper. So these are some of the projects that I have done so far in my 4 year of engineering. The first one that I did was the text object detection using AI, where I just place an object in front of the Raspberry Pi camera, and the text is detected using by artificial intelligence. So this was the first project that I did, and I also presented this project at UNESCO in Paris. The second one was, so now I sort of started doing some online end-to-end projects. And after that, I came up with new ideas that, how we can use AI in the ideas I have. So the first idea that I had was to, whether AI is capable enough to, detect the weight of the potatoes just by clicking a picture of it. So this was the first idea that I had, and then I worked on it, and it was quite successful. Here is the video, so anyone can check it out. I'll not be playing because due to less time. So yeah, this was the first research paper that I published at the STEM conference, and its poster was also published at UNESCO MGIEP, which is the Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Education for Peace and Sustainable Development in New Delhi. It is the UNESCO's institute. They organize the tech conference in Vishakhapatnam every year, where people like us who are working in working and developing various projects in the field of AI and IoT and machine learning and mobile learning and all these some useful technologies that can be helpful for the betterment of society. So, and people like us, students like us, get an opportunity to discuss and present their research as well. So my poster was also published here. So this was the first step in my research area where I published a research paper. Um, so, after doing all this, the one thing that I realized that, which was missing was electronics. So I was also interested in electronics along with the AI and machine learning. So what I thought was that how about integrating electronics and communication technology along with all these new cutting edge technologies? So I was lucky enough that I got again a chance at ICTP, which is International Center of Theoretical Physics, which is in Trieste in Italy. It's the UNESCO's Premier One Institute of Research, where I was selected as one of the 60 participants around the world, and I also received a travel grant where I went there and studied in a 12-day workshop of rapid prototyping in Internet of Things. This workshop was mainly about on learning on a new communication technology, which is LoRaWAN. It's almost similar like the communication technology such as Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, but this communication technology has more range, and it can be used where in the areas where sensors are used, and it can be used for transferring sensor data from one place to another. It has a range of 20 kilometers, so that is a huge breakthrough, and it can be used in ocean monitoring and weather monitoring, and also in nuclear monitoring as well, and making some useful products where this communication technology can be used. So I also was lucky enough that I got a chance to present on my idea, where we were given some time to think and brainstorm on ideas where we can have on the basis of the things we have learned so far. So I was lucky enough that I got an opportunity to talk about an idea where I presented an idea on traffic monitoring system using LoRaWAN and AI, where internet connectivity is not available and can be used in place of Google Maps as well. So this was one of the things and huge achievements. The next thing that happened was, so I was like motivated further and further. I was interested more and more. So I developed one more project, which was AI-enabled gesture recognition device, where wearing this device, this photograph shown here, you just have to wear it on the hand, and then you have to do some sort of gestures, and because with the help of machine learning, it will be able to detect that what sort of gesture the person is performing. So this project can be used for the people who cannot see or cannot hear, and also to the people who have for the students where they lack primary education, as in the developing areas or the underdeveloping areas where they do not have enough facilities, they do not have teachers as well. So these sort of devices can be really helpful there. So this project was featured again in the Tech 2019 conference on the consecutive year, where I discussed about this prototype, and I got really commendable appreciation from various stakeholders, from the director of the UNESCO MGIEP, and from the project scientists, and a lot of amazing people. So this was also a great motivation for me. So now the next thing that happened was I developed a tongue primary diagnosis tool using tongue image capture, where a person just shows his or her image in front of the camera, like it's a prototype where a person shows his or her camera, and then his or her tongue, and then using again artificial intelligence, it would be able to detect that what type of tongue the person has, what type of disease the person might be suffering from. And this project is mainly integrated with Raspberry Pi, with a Raspberry Pi camera, and an LCD screen is connected. And the algorithm that I've used is the software side is sort of an artificial intelligence system. So this also got again, my poster here was selected at the UNESCO Chair ICT4D, which is the sort of an organization in Royal Holloway Institute in London, where it is arranged almost since 7 years, and where people from various institute and around the world, they submit their proposals and their posters, and if they get selected, they get a chance. So I was lucky enough to be selected amongst them, and my poster was actually as ranked as the second best poster as well. So this is one of the. So now this was up till 2020, but now the pandemic hit, and almost our schools were shut down. I also got one more chance to go to Paris again, and present at Mobile Learning Week, but because of pandemic, all of them were just cancelled. But it didn't stop me, and it didn't demotivate me. I joined an initiative which was started by Makers Asylum. So Makers Asylum is a maker space in Mumbai where they make amazing stuff, DIY stuff, and they focus on frugal innovation. So what they did was they started this collective, this initiative to make face shields, where they open source their prototype of this face shield, and people from all around the world can access that and make face shields at their home. So me and my brother started making face shields. So the left one, the bottom left picture, is the first face shield that we made, where that was the first face shield that we made from the things that were available at home. And then we soon joined this collective, and then we started making face shields, and we made around 350 face shields in 2 days, and we donated it to the doctors and the frontline healthcare workers, and those doctors help us to donate, to spread it more and more to other people as well. So this was we made this face shield, and this initiative was featured in NDTV, and it was also featured as a research in the Cambridge Institute in US, and also we were featured as in various news channels, and where our initiative was actually featured, and also the collective all together, almost around 50 to 60 colleges, institutions, students like us, engineers, doctors, and neuroscientists, and all of them like collaborated, and all of us made face shields from the place we were living, and we crossed of the number around 1 million. So that was a huge achievement for all of us, and we all of these face shields were donated to the Safai Karmacharis and the healthcare workers and all of them. So this was after making this face shield, during that time, what I realized was that the only way, like even now, the only way of sort of finding people who have COVID-19 is just by using those thermal guns, where you just place it on your hand, and the people who have higher temperature would just note your name and take your number. But there is no such record where the person's image is captured, and at the same time whose image it is, and what temperature they had is not recorded. So that was something which I thought of making, where using the thermal scanner, the Raspberry Pi camera and Raspberry Pi, I developed a sort of a prototype where when a person places his or her face in front of the camera, the face is first of all detected. That is detected using the OpenCV algorithm, which is the computer vision library. And after that phase is detected, if the person has higher temperature, then only the photograph would be captured. And the photograph would also state that what sort of temperature the person has. So the temperature is also annotated on that photograph, and that is stored into a movable storage device. So this can be used for people who are currently and at the government institutions, at various colleges, and so it can be very useful for the people, because so they can note that who had more temperature and who didn't have. And also I would like to say that this project has been implemented in my college, in our college, and this I've also received prize money from our alumni, Mr. Ashok Patel, who was very impressed by me, and representing my college at an international level and doing such amazing innovations. So this project has been developed at our college, and it is currently there. So people who wish to just do some research and development, they are free to do so. And moving on, so all these innovations were also featured at the International Telecommunication Union's WSIS forum, which is a World Summit Information Society, which is an event that is organized every year. So where students and stakeholders and various people from ministries and almost people from every single area, they present about their projects and their innovations, and in the field of ICT. So my innovation, which I previously talked about, which was the contactless thermal infrared scanner, was selected, and I got an opportunity thrice to talk about it. The first one was as a live interview series. The second one was as a panelist, where I talked about how I got into ICT and what sort of innovation I did. And this was something which I talked about. The third one, which is probably one of the most favorite events of mine, I was so much lucky enough that I got to be a part of the Girls in ICT Day, which is a event which is organized by ITU. ITU is International Telecommunication Union. So being an electronics and engineering student, electronics and communication engineering student, all of us should know what ITU is. So it's a union where it's divided into various areas, but this is the union which this is the organization which sort of decides what sort of standards the communication technology should have. So like, for example, the SMS has 50 characters. That is decided by ITU, and all other communication protocols and regulations and all of this, ITU is the organization which is the topmost organization. So they arrange Girls in ICT Day every year. So this was the 10th anniversary, and I got an opportunity to talk about my journey in ICT, because I, being a woman in technology and ICT, I talked about it, and I would recommend and encourage girls from our college, especially from EC, to participate in this event and submit their ideas and projects and proposals, because this is one of the greatest platform for not only girls but almost for everybody to discuss their innovations, to know what is going around the world, to know what other people are discussing and what other people are developing around the world, and to stay updated. So I would highly recommend and encourage girls, students, especially girls from our class, I mean our department, to participate in this event. So I talked about all this, but why I am doing this? It's just because I've always loved when it comes to developing tools and coming up with solutions that overcomes some real world issues, which are digital divide, so unavailability of healthcare facilities, the students who do not get primary education in underdeveloping areas, gender inequality, digital illiteracy. These are some really important issues that we need to overcome to come up with to come up with a sustainable world. So these are some of the goals that one should achieve and one should keep in mind when they are, developing some great prototypes and solutions. So these are some of the useful links that I've shared with all of you. I will also be sharing this presentation for those, who need to access it and need to sort of go through whatever it is. So these are some useful links I've shared. They can go through that, and also they're feel free to contact them, apply to various conferences and various hackathons. So I talked about all this, but there's one more thing which I would like to talk is that along with all this, the only advice I would like to give is that along with the technical skills you have, please try to improve your communication skills, because those are really important factors that determine how good you are at whatever you're doing. So um, some people who have less technical skills, but they are really great at communicating, they do land at a better place than the ones who do have great technical skills. This is the fact. So I'm not saying that people should not focus on their technical skills, but they should give an equal importance to all of this. And along with these extracurriculars, they should also be focusing on their academics, because they are as much important as your extracurriculars. Because if you want to stand out after 4 years, then your grades would be around 40 to 50%, but at the same time, what extra you have done throughout the 4 years of your engineering will really matter. So like try to publish a research paper, try to conduct some research, try to make some projects, and try to integrate electronics with the cutting edge technologies. So this is what I did in my 4 year engineering, and this is the path that I followed. So this is I feel like I took a lot of time, but I hope I was helpful. I would wish all of you very best for your because you are just in the first year, so you have a long way to go. So I would like to thank my professors as well, who have guided me throughout. Um, EC department is literally the best department in BVM, because they are open, they are inclusive, they are absolutely supportive on whatever students want to do. When it comes to developing projects or getting fundings from college, I have received a funding of almost 48,000 rupees for developing a project from the Student Startup Innovation Policy. And I've also, this was, so, these are some of the help that you get from our department. And our principal sir is extremely helpful when it comes to, helping students and, motivating them and encouraging them to keep on participating and keep on learning. So don't worry that, you have taken EC or something. Electronics is literally the most emerging branch, and try to integrate your knowledge with the cutting edge technologies. And I feel like you would be more successful enough after 4 years. So thank you very much. Yeah, I hope I was helpful.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dhwani. Indeed, the presentation was excellent, and I believe that our students have motivated by the work, the task which you have done, and we believe that student will take as a role model and do much more better in futures with the support of our alumni, also the present final year students. Okay, before proceeding to our second student, if anyone want to ask few questions or any faculty concerns or want to share something.
Yes, Dhwani, it was really nice narration of your journey of 4 years at BVM Electronics and Communication Department. I'm sure students must have been enlightened and encouraged that what you have done at BVM in last 4 years. Naturally, there are many questions coming up in the minds of students, so we would be sharing your presentation with all the students, and hopefully that the students will be taking more advantage of what we are arranging for them. Of course, this National Technology Day, uh, we are not the one who are going to deliver some kind of defense mechanism or defense equipments. but this small prototypes, small ideas can be converted to big defense or maybe some societal needs. So we really thank Dhwani for sharing her valuable thoughts. Yes.
Rightly said, sir. Thank you.
Any students who would like to interact for 1 or 2 minutes, the forum is open, and then we will have one more student who will be sharing his uh, journey at BV.
Yes, this is very important. Students should be more and more interactive when it like this is because of the situation currently we are not face to face, but when it comes to even online meetings, students should be able to interact, and they shouldn't be afraid to sort of ask any questions. Like, I understand the pressure and the nervousness they have in the first year, but yeah, it's all good. If anyone wants to ask any questions, I'm there for you, and feel free to even ask me after the session is over.
See, the purpose of this kind of interaction is that we don't want that, even though we are learning online, but we want you to feel like that it is more than handing offline teaching, right? Offline teaching learning, of course, has its own advantage, but we don't want you to be saying that in online we are not getting any information, any informative session or any extracurricular. So this is
Yes.
humble attempt from our department, and I think I'm so proud that the students of final year, first year, they are highly uh, motivating themselves, and they are coming out with different ideas, and we are helping them in implementing those ideas at different levels.
Excuse me, sir. Hello.
Yes, you're audible.
Hi, Dhani. I'm Krish this side. I would like to ask you a question.
Can you speak a little bit louder?
Hi, Dhani. This is Krish this
Hi.
side. I would like to ask you a question regarding your journey. So,
Hmm.
you mentioned you participated in all those events which were held internationally.
Hmm.
I congratulate to you for them as well. So, my question here is that uh, how did you came to know about all this? Like, you informed us about these things, but as a student, as a layman, how will we come to know that all such events are being organized? And uh, I mean, how will be the approach of a normal student who is not knowing anything towards all such events and seminars?
Right. Good question. Great question, actually. So, see, as I already knew some sort of events that were going on, and see, everybody knows about United Nations and UNESCO and all these organizations. So, what I used to do was that, in my free time, I would just like go surfing on the internet and see about various events and learn about various sort of new innovations that were developing. So, I got to know about the first thing I got to know about the UNESCO Mobile Learning Week was just by googling on internet, like UNESCO activities. So I got to know that they do this event regarding in the field of ICT, where people where can talk about their projects, and from especially people who are working in the field of technology, they can do that. So after that, once get to know about this thing, automatically you would be start getting information about various other events as well. Because the thing is, I connected with a lot of people there, and they introduced me to various other events, like the ITU's director, who was the one who actually introduced me to Girls in ICT Day. So networking with other people, connecting with other people, um, getting in touch, asking them about such sort of events, new projects, new innovations, new developments. So this is the only way that can happen. Like right now, you knew about all this because I told you. So this is how it happens. You have to go and ask. You have to either go attend some, not attend some webinars, but like connect with other people. Like networking is one of the most important thing if you want to succeed in your life, because that's how you get to know about other other events and other various activities that are going on around the world, and which also are sort of matches with your area of interest. So I feel like this is how you know about this. You sort of get aware about every activities and events.
Thank you. I found this helpful. But if you don't mind, I'd like to
Hmm.
just ask something else. Were you able to manage all your trips and all the extra stuff you did with the college studies? I mean, uh,
Yeah, I understand.
effect on your that what we call CGPA or anything like that.
So my journey is more of like in my first 3 semesters, my CGPA weren't doing so. I mean, I wasn't doing so good. Like it wasn't the reason because of I was focusing more on the extracurriculars. I was just not aware about the system and the examination pattern. But from the fourth semester, my grades automatically started improving because I sort of knew about how everything goes and what you have to actually prepare for the exam. But no, it was not because of I was focusing more on these activities. You will get time. You just need to know how to manage it. Like all these innovations and project I did was in my summer vacation. So, and the product or the output of it was observed like all the year. So when you have like almost the free time, such as like summer vacations or Diwali vacations, or when you have holidays, weekends, you can think about it. You can develop on that. You can work on projects, end-to-end projects, stuff like that. So you just need to manage it, and I don't think so. It would affect your academics, because the course and curriculum is very flexible. You can easily learn it if you have the passion for it. So yeah, it won't affect as much.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay, I think there is no more questions. If there is questions, I think we will be you can share to us, or we will share the contact numbers, email ID of our alumni, means final students, as the time is going ahead. Now I request Rutvik to share his experience and presentation. Rutvik.
Yes. Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, yes, visible.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Respected faculties
Rutvik,
and
your
all.
voice is little less. If you can speak little louder.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Respected faculties. Now is it better, sir?
Yeah, little bit improved.
So, good afternoon, everyone, respected faculties and all my juniors. First of all, I would like to congratulate Bhargav sir and the EC department, and I would like to appreciate the efforts for conducting such an event, like celebrating National Technology Day, and the idea that to invite us to motivate and guide the juniors. That is such a great idea of Dr. Bhargav sir. As I remember myself, I also got motivated from Mahesh Malik bhai, in the initial days when Bhargav sir invited him to give such a session, and I was highly motivated by him only that okay, so these are the things we can also do. So that's such a great initiative by our HOD sir. And so now moving forward, I would like to mention some basic things which the students should keep in their mind. So first of all is to accept the changes. Like one of the mistakes that I did as a student was that I was very upset when I got into BVM. Then I wasted my first year thinking that, oh, I could have gotten a better college, or like the surrounding was new. So I was like, what is this? Like, what is all going around? And I was very much kind of disappointed, and I was continuously thinking about that only, that I could have been on in a better place. So please don't do that. Accept that this is the branch which you have got. Don't regret that I could have gotten CP or IT somewhere else or something like that. uh, Please keep a positive approach. You might not realize that right now, but as Dhwani said, EC is the best branch, and the best part about it is you can also pivot to CP and IT also at a later stage. Like our classmates, most of our classmates have got placement in CPIT companies only. And best part about being in EC is that you will get the knowledge of the hardware, like the what is at the base of the devices which are functioning around, as well as you will get to the knowledge about the software, the coding part also. So the CP and IT guys don't know about that. We get to know about best of the both worlds. So we can be as we can be employable in both the engineering fields. So that is the best part about this branch. So please don't keep that in mind, and keep a positive approach, and accept that you are now in EC in BVM, and start working towards it. Now, what can you make the most out of it? And another most important thing is realize the importance of self learning. Like the faculties will definitely guide you, and there are such great mentors in our department. But it won't work if you are not self motivated, and if you are not keen to learn things from your end. So please realize the importance of self learning. You can just Google and learn lots and lots of things. As Dhwani mentioned, there was no official machine learning or artificial intelligence course taught in our curriculum. But as you can see, people from our branch are doing marvelous in these areas. So all that was due to their self learning only. They taught themselves from Coursera, Udemy, etc. And another thing is that theory is important, but the EC engineering is all about practical implementation. So you should keep that in mind, and also focus on the practical implementation of what all you learn in the theory lectures. And another thing is that I would share my experience that when I was in first year, I was very shy, and I used to think a lot. Like I would used to think twice, thrice before raising my voice or asking faculty any doubt. So please don't do that. Faculties are our friends; they are not our enemies. Please ask them, and especially the faculties that are here, Bhargav sir, Robinson sir, and Ghanshyam sir. These three are the my most favorite three faculties, and they are the most helpful, and they are the most friendly. You can ask them, call them at any time, and they won't hesitate to help you. So please do that. And another important thing is choose your friend circle wisely. That is also very important. Choose friends which have same interest as you guys, especially those who are doing such things like participating in extracurricular technical activities. Keep their company, so you'll also get to know things from them also. Now you must ask that, okay, all this is fine, but where to start from? As Prithviraj asked that, where do we get the resources? How do we get to know about all this? So now let's start with number one is that college resources. You don't need to go anywhere else outside of the college. There are ample number of opportunities and resources inside the college itself. Number one being our BVM library. It From the outside it may not look that much impressive, but from the inside it has humongous resources which will help you lifelong. So what I did as a student of first year was I used to spend my time, the extra break time or in between the lecture time. I used to run away to the library straight away, and I used to read these magazines such as Electronics for You, Digit, IEEE Spectrum, Electronics Maker. Our library has all of these subscribed, and every monthly issues come there regularly without any break. And so they are so awesome. And if you want to start your building projects, what I did, I got motivated from Electronics for You. If you go into the library first floor, you will get the Electronics for You in the magazine section, and at the end, 4 to 5 pages of Electronics for You, there are projects mentioned, and do it yourself projects with step by step guidance, how you can interface, how you can make the PCB and everything, what components you need to use, and everything from A to Z is mentioned there. So my first project that I did from there only. So please go there and read. Don't waste your time lingering around in the campus. Like that is also important, but please spend your free time in the library also. So now you've got the knowledge, right? Like, okay, this is the project and these are the components I need. Now, now the another question would be, where do I get the money from? Because some projects are expensive, some components are also expensive. So you cannot afford that on personal basis. So we have a solution to that also in our college. That is SSIP, the Student Startup and Innovation Policy, which is coordinated by Bhargav sir and Professor Dr. Rana sir. You can approach them. They would be more than happy to look at your proposals and put you up in the list of the monthly the presentations that happen, the industrial scrutiny committee. So you can get a project grant up to 2 lakhs INR. Yeah, it is not a joke. Up to 2 lakhs INR, and trust me, I have got funding up to 1,85,000 rupees. So it is possible. So please do them, approach them. They will set up an industry scrutinization committee. They will come, they will scrutinize your presentation. You just need to give a presentation, what all you need and how are you going to make it. And if they like it, they will approve it right away and you will get the funding. Now you've got the funding, right? You got the knowledge, you got the funding. Now third thing, where do I build them? Because sometimes we cannot build all that on our back in our hostel where we are living in a 3 or 4 sharing room. So for that also our college has wonderful resource, that is the Edge Block Robotics Lab. The Edge Block Robotics Lab, I have personally made sure to make it a 24/7 maker space, or we can say hacker space. So as you might have read and heard that our college won the RoboFest 1.0. So I was a key member in that team also, and trust me, that win didn't come easily. What we did was we sat in the Edge Block Robotics Lab. We took a special permission. Now, as Dhwani said, our principal sir, our HOD sir, and all the faculties in general in our college are super supportive. So what they did was they gave us special permission. They gave us the keys to Edge Block, where we used to sit whole night, like 24/7. We used to work on that robot with the rover which we developed. So that's how you win. So if you want to win such competitions, it requires a lot of efforts and dedication, and our college is kind enough to support us in that. So they provided the key to the H block, especially to the robotics lab. So we used to sit day and night there and develop the rover. So please make use of that. It also has amazing resources such as all other components which you might require. We have we have purchased many components like soldering iron, even the projectors, and present if you want to give presentation to your teammates and discuss the strategy, it is there. And there is also a 3D printer. So if you want to do rapid prototyping, there is also a 3D printer available to use. So please make use of them. And finally, the most important college resource, our seniors and faculties. So please go and ask faculties for the guidance. They will also guide you. They will also make you aware about upcoming competitions which are coming and everything else. They will help you in solving errors. And also to your seniors, you can reach out to us which have passed out, or your second, third and fourth year seniors, especially Vedant Dokania from third year. He is also very active. You can reach out to him. He would also definitely guide you. So please do that. Now, the online resources. Now there are ample amount of online resources. Now, number one and the most important resource is that please go to the IT department and take your college email ID, which would be starting like 20 EC something 421 or something at that bvmengineering.ac.in. I never knew that this thing exists. I got to know about it at the end of the second year, and I still regret it. So please, as soon as you get free, contact, I guess, Ronak sir from IT department, and he will provide you this your personalized email ID. This email ID unlocks a lot of opportunities for you, like the GitHub Student Developer Pack. Now, the GitHub Student Developer Pack is an amazing developer pack which gives you access to free domains. Like you can host your own website for a year, then you can get access to Canva Pro, then you can get access to even MATLAB, then many other PCB development tools and everything which are paid for normal people. But if you sign up through the 20EC, this email ID, which is your institutional email ID. They will give it to you for free for your college life for 4 years. You will have access to those free resources for you can use it for as long as you like for the period of 4 years, and there is no limit. You can develop anything from that. So please do that. Please take your email ID and please sign up for this. And this email ID not only will come helpful in here also, it will also come helpful in Coursera, edX, and such websites. They also give you some free courses if you sign up through your institutional email ID. So please do that. Then another important website which I would like to mention is Hackster.io. Now, Hackster.io is a website where people like us upload their own projects, like as Dhwani and has developed so many amazing projects. So people like Dhwani and me, we upload our projects and full with the whole source code and step-by-step guide, like how to prepare them, what components to use, and what is the code. So you can just go there and search out for amazing projects, and also they conduct competitions. You can take part in those competitions and hackathons from Hackster.io and win amazing goodies. Trust me, I have won that. You can also do that. Then another similar website is thingiverse.com. They also do the same thing as Hackster.io. Another is instructables.com. They also build, and especially here there is a guidance for 3D printing and rapid prototyping, so you can go there. Then Coursera, edX, and Udemy. You all must have known that by now. But yeah, that would be a problem. That there are courses, but when we access that courses, those are paid. So what do we do? So you guys are smart enough. You can go to torrent, and there are many other websites which give Coursera, edX, and Udemy courses for free. And even Coursera also provides courses for free. But yeah, you will not get the certificate. And trust me, no one asks the certificate in this world. They just need your skills. If you sit in an interview and say that okay, I know machine learning and AI, they won't tell you that okay, show us your Coursera certificate. They would ask the relevant technical questions. And if you have learned sincerely through Coursera, edX, and Udemy, and if you are able to answer those questions, you are hired. No one is going to care about what course did you actually did or not did and where is the certificate. So please don't get obstructed by that okay, I will not get a certificate, so it's worthless. It is not. Please do that. Another important resource is, if anyone is interested in doing the research one, that is publishing research papers or doing some research projects, our library has an IEEE institutional login access to the IEEE Spectrum and IEEE Explore. So you can go there and ask that in our library department. They will provide it. You can sit in the library and have access to millions of research papers for absolutely free. And another resource is the Sci-Hub. So you don't also need the IEEE institution login and access. There is Sci-Hub. Just Google Sci-Hub, and you any research paper which you like but it is paid, you just need to copy paste the link and the whole research paper will be downloaded completely free. So please keep that also in mind. So as I mentioned, when you participate in Hackster.io and such websites, they have continuous competitions going around. So they reward you with exciting gifts and goodies, such as this, which I have won. I won this Hacktoberfest T-shirt that is organized by DigitalOcean. And as you can see, I received this email that was AI at the Edge challenge organized by Hackster.io. So I didn't even want that, but they in what they do whenever a project is posted, and these projects are company sponsored. So Nvidia was sponsoring this competition. Okay, so Nvidia was giving out 50 free Jetson developer nano kits. What you needed to do was you just need to submit your idea that I have this idea, and of course that idea should be unique and that idea should be solving some crucial problem. If you copy paste something, obviously you won't will. So please identify some key real world problems and think of it that how I can solve them using this component, and just mention that in their page. And after a thorough analysis, I won. There was around 500 to 700 entries in this competition, and I was one of the top 50 entries. So as you can see, they shipped NVIDIA Jetson developer kit that is worth more than 10,000. So they shipped that absolutely free to me within a week of time. The express delivered it from all the way to USA. I got it delivered to my hostel. So, and I also won a Google Home I did some work for Google. So Google has this thing which is known as the it's about the actions on Google. It is known as actions on Google. You can search it on the internet. Just type actions on Google Developer. There are a lot of opportunities for you. And if you develop 2 to 3 actions for the Google, they ship a whole brand new Google Home straight away to your house. And there are many more such opportunities. So please do that, and you can win exciting goodies and electronics components and whatnot. So please do that. Now just as I said, you need to participate and build and participate. Just don't think about that I will win or I will lose. Just participate in things. There are ample amount of opportunities. So these are some of the opportunities which I participated and I know about. So number one is please actively participate in our IEEE, IST, IEI and TRS, that is the Robotic Society events and activities organized in our college throughout the year. So please participate in them. You will get to learn a lot about hands-on implementation of projects from there only. Then you can use what you learned there, you can apply them in number one. We have our own technical fest, Genesis. So you can participate in the Genesis Technical Fest. Please actively participate in Genesis. It is the best thing. I participated in Genesis. I participated in all of the technical EC department events, and I was the winner in 3 of them. So the most motivation I got, that the confidence I got was from Genesis. They're okay. I not only know about this stuff, but also I can implement that, and also I can do well in that. So please participate in Genesis. It will work as a great confidence booster for you guys. Then going a level above, you can participate in the GTU Tech Fest that is also conducted each year by our Gujarat Technological University. Then each December, TechFest is organized by IIT Bombay. You can go there in the IIT Bombay and participate in the fest in the competitions there. So please take advantage of that also. Then there is another competition known as Boeing Build. That is for doing a startup. If you want to do a startup, then you need to pitch a startup idea and a proof of concept in this Boeing Build competition. So participate in that. They also give you the mentorship for 1 week. I got the mentorship for 1 week at IIT Gandhinagar Incubation Cell. So, hello.
Yes, you are audible.
Yes.
Uh,
Connected.
yeah, Ruti, can you once again present your screen?
Yes, sir. Yes. Was I audible till now? Was everything fine?
Yes, fine.
Yes, sir. Just wait a second. Yeah, is the screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can participate in Boeing Build. They give you free mentorship and incubation support in one of the premier incubation cells of the India, that is IIT Gandhinagar, IIT Bombay. You can get free incubation there if your idea is good enough. Then there is this Dell Augmented Hackathon, which is organized by Dell each year. I got selected as the top 3 participants there, and I got a travel grant to travel to Singapore to take part to participate in that. But due to the pandemic, it was cancelled. But next year, I hope you guys get the opportunity, and I would love to see one or more of you guys getting selected and traveling to Singapore and winning the international augmented hackathon there. So please participate in there also. And there is this James Dyson engineering model competition. James Dyson was a great engineer in the UK. So this competition is funded by the UK. So they give a grant up to 27 lakhs. If your idea is good enough, they give you winning money of 27 lakhs, including 5 lakhs is given to the college from which you are, and 22 lakhs is given to you. So please participate there also. Then there are various amount of coding challenges going on Hacker Earth, Hacker Rank, Tech Geek, etc. Numerous amount of opportunities. If you want to improve your coding skills, just search Hacker Earth or Hacker Rank on Google and take part on the coding hackathons going there. You might not win initially because there is a lot of competition from all over the world, but you will absolutely learn something valuable there. Then there is competition organized by Indian government such as Shakti Microprocessor Challenge. If you guys are interested in VLSI and chip development and embedded, you can take part in this. Our college, especially Bhargav sir, will guide you and will personally mentor you in taking part in this competition. Then there is this India International Science Festival, which I scored a third rank in, is also conducted by Government of India. Our Ministry of Electronics especially organizes this event, and there is also, they also give a huge amount of prize money, so please participate there also. Then there are various number of hackathons which I won and which are going around throughout the year, such as the iHack, which is organized by IIT Bombay. That is the #1 hackathon in India. So if you even get selected to present your project in iHack, that is considered to be a great thing. So please do that. Then there is this dot slash, which is organized by SVNIT Surat. So you can take part in there. There is InOut, which is organized in Bangalore, and then there is Hexahive organized by Parul, and there are much more competitions. Now you will have a doubt that how do I get to know about these competitions? So there is this Instagram page known as Hackathon Updates. Please follow them. They give updates of all the upcoming hackathons, which where they are organized and on which date. So you can check that ahead in your schedule, like if it is clashing with your exams or not, then you can enroll that and submit your idea. And then once you, and you can just basically search on Google that upcoming hackathons in India. So as Dhwani said, once you are in that loop, like once you start searching such things on Google, as you know, Google learns, Google's algorithm is that then the Google will automatically show you ads. Like it happened with me, that once you start searching about hackathons and such competitions, now when you will be scrolling your Instagram or even your Facebook or LinkedIn, then they will show you such ads only that okay, this hackathon or this competition is being conducted by XYZ company or organization, so click here to participate now. So that will happen automatically once you get into that loop. So for that you need to start surfing on the web, and then everything will start falling into place. So it's not difficult. And still, if you need any guidance, you can reach out to me. I will give you updates about upcoming hackathons or your seniors such as Vedant. We would more than love to give you the guidance. Then there is this eYantra. This is the #1 robotics competition in India, organized by the IIT Bombay. So if you are interested in robotics, please participate in eYantra. We did, but unfortunately we were not able to qualify the third round. So I would love to see my juniors do that. And please, that's very much interesting competition, eYantra. The best part about eYantra is they just don't give you some task that like do this and show this and you need to win. They also give you the necessary required guidance. So if you participate in eYantra, they will make you learn the concepts first, the basic robotics concepts. They will make you learn them first. They will give you the material, the videos, the documentations, everything is provided by them. You learn from that, and then you try to implement the task. And then if you successfully implement the task, you qualify for the second round, third round. So by the time you reach the final round, when you look back, you will see that you have learned a lot about the robotics. So even if you do not win, but it would be worth it because you would have learned a lot of information and a lot of knowledge you would have gained in the robotics domain. So please do participate in eYantra also. Now, what you will learn when you will participate in all these competitions? You will learn teamwork. You will learn perseverance. You will learn most important thing, the improvisation in Jugaad, which we all should know as EC engineers and in general as engineers. We should know how to improvise at the last moment. And the most important thing, the error solving. When you will start building projects, there will be errors like millions of errors, which you will get frustrated sometimes, but please be motivated. Please do seek out guidance from mentors, search on the internet, try to solve those errors, and you will come out successful. So the key strategies to win. Now, what I observed by taking part in these various hackathons and winning, what I think that the key strategies are for winning a hackathon or any competition is that #1, don't just copy paste any existing project from internet and try to build that in the hackathon. It will not work. The judges are very experienced industry professionals. they have seen such thousands projects before you were even born. So please don't try to fool them by doing copy pasting the projects and changing the name. Please don't do that. That is just the waste of your time. Then so what you should do instead, do this: identify a real world problem from your surroundings. Like what I did, what we identified was that there were heavy, if people which are from Vadodara especially would know that in 2019 there were very heavy floods in whole Gujarat, and especially Vadodara was flooded fully. Like people cannot travel from one place to another, and there were many deaths. There were of stray animals as well as people because of the electrocution. Like when there was flood, so the electricity from the poles, electric poles were leaking, and so people which were traveling got electrocuted and they sadly died. So we read this about in a newspaper, and so me and my teammates Ishwarya Joshi and Jay Prajapati, we thought like let's not why not try to solve it. So we sat together and did some brainstorming, like how do we solve this problem, and we developed IoT based smart enabled pole, which was basically a device which can be attached on the pole, and whenever electricity leak is detected, it directly informs the central the our Vadodara Municipal Corporation that there is this leakage, please come and fix it. And also at the same time it cut off the power of that whole line, so the pedestrians are safe. And we presented this idea at many hackathons and that India International Science Festival, and all the judges loved that, and we were able to secure good ranks in this competition. So always try to solve some genuine problem and come out with some innovative solutions. You will definitely win. Then don't use ready-made things, like don't use ready-made components or kits and just try to present them. Don't do that. Try to build everything from scratch. Don't use breadboard, use PCBs. Solder each and every component and build everything from scratch. So that looks more, that impresses the judges more. Then another important thing is think different. Judges absolutely love improvisation and jugaad. Like if you have done if one of your component break, or there was something some error was coming, that will definitely happen. Trust me, if you go into hackathon, there at the end moment, like everything is working fine, in the last 1 hour or 2 hour something will go off, some component will short, or something will happen. Now at that moment, what innovative solution which you come up with the limited amount of resources that you have, yeah, around yourself, will determine whether you win or lose. If you come up with something innovative and do some jugaad around that, the judges will definitely notice that and will be impressed. Don't think that we have done this so it will not look good and it does not look professional. No, the hackathons are all about improvising. They test your improvisation skills, like how quickly you adapt to the changes, how quickly you can build something. So please do that. Then reach out to the technical mentors. In any competitions or hackathon you go, there will be technical mentors allotted to you. Don't hesitate. Don't be afraid of them. Go out, reach out to them. They will be more than happy to help you. Then another most important thing, the way you present the project determines if you win or lose. This I can tell you from my own experience. Like we built an amazing project in a hackathon, but in the final round of the presentation, we started and the presentation did not go that well, and so we lost. But when we in another hackathon, when the project was not so good, but our presentation which we prepared was amazing, and all our teammates were confident, and we did a great presentation and we won that hackathon. And I have seen ample numerous amount of examples where it was that the projects were not that good, but like there were better projects than that available in the same pool of competition. But just because they presented it better, they had great communication skills, they made better connect with the audience and with the judges, they were declared the winners. So please remember, and in your team if possible, keep one person who is excellent at communication skills, so it becomes a well balanced team. Don't just make a technically expert team, also keep someone who is great at communications who can nail the presentation also. And then, as I said, there will be a million errors, lots and lots of errors plus, but please don't give up. Try to solve them, reach out to people, just Google them, try to solve them take a break for half an hour or so, then come back and the same error, and come back with a fresh mind. But don't give up. Just and because if you don't give up, then in the end you will definitely come out victorious, as we did. Trust me, it's worth it in the end. Like that, in at that moment you will think, why am I even doing this? Why am I investing so much of my time and energy in solving such a tiny error which will not get me any grades or anything? But if you win that competition, then the recognition and the fame you get and everything, it's all worth it in the end. So please do remember that, and please try to solve those errors. Another thing which I forgot to mention was that about the as I said that all of these competitions and hackathons, many of them are conducted in faraway cities such as Delhi, Jaipur, Bangalore, etc. So you will be thinking that how do we travel there? Like it's not possible to spend so much money or traveling there. Then remember, there is this wonderful thing known as Student Startup Innovation Policy (SSIP). Please take maximum benefit of it. I did, and I am telling, encouraging you guys to do it. SSIP also provides funding for travel. Like if you are selected in any hackathon or any competition, a national level hackathon, and if you need to travel, need to travel to any part of the world, be it Kanyakumari or be it the Jammu and Kashmir, SSIP will fund you. They will not give you flight tickets, obviously, but they will give you train sleeper class tickets, so you can comfortably travel to the place and come back easily. And once you go there, then the host will provide the accommodation and food, so you don't need to worry about. So please take maximum benefit of SSIP. Give your proposal. Rana sir and Bhargav sir will approve it instantly within 2-3 days, and you are good to go. Once you book the tickets, they will refund the tickets. Once you submit the tickets, they will refund the amount, exact amount, nothing deducted, nothing at all such. So please don't hesitate using these opportunities. Okay. And yeah, the most important thing, networking. As Dhwani said, that networking is very important. So please do network with seniors, with another the teammates with the, which you meet with whom you meet there in those competitions or in those hackathons. Whom you meet them, try to get their LinkedIn ID or their GitHub repo ID, and try to follow them there. So whatever they are doing in future, the exciting projects which they are building, you will be aware of that. And if they are participating in another hackathon or competitions, you will get to know that also. So please network on LinkedIn, GitHub. So all of you must have a LinkedIn profile by now. By the end of first year, please make a LinkedIn profile. Don't worry that I don't have anything to put. I don't have any achievements. First make the LinkedIn account. Achievements will come along. And there is also internshala. So many juniors approached me asking that from where do we get these internships opportunities. So there is internshala. Apply on internshala. There is HR email ID and numbers. Call them up, ask them what is their specific need for the internship, what skills do they require, and try to build those skills from beforehand, and then try to apply. You will definitely grab a great internship through internship. These are some future scopes of EC engineers. The upcoming emerging fields in the EC are the Internet of Things, the autonomous vehicles. Many of you would have heard about the Hyperloop and Tesla. So yeah, all they need are EC engineers, especially the power electronics and the Internet of Things skills. They need that. So, and now the Tesla is in India also. So please focus. You can. I really wish to see that after 4 years, you guys getting placed in Tesla. So please take subjects seriously, such as power electronics and another communication subjects, which will help you get placed in such great companies. Then there is companies such as Qualcomm and Intel, which is VLSI design and 5G. Qualcomm is currently hiring for 5G engineers, which will communication engineers, which can work on 5G. So develop skills in that area also. And obviously the ML and data analytics field, that is also currently in great demand. So please try to develop skills in those areas also. Now, as I said, that once you start doing this, once you start reading about this, once you start searching about this, then it will become a flow. It will become a hobby. Like I from in the beginning, I also was not interested in such stuff. But as I started searching about it, it became a hobby for me. And once it becomes a hobby for you, then as you know, you don't need any external motivation to do things you love. Now you already love building projects and taking part in competition, then no one needs to force you. Now you would do it will come along automatically to you. So, and trust me, if I can do this, you can do it too. And you can also build exciting projects, such as I made this drone, which was funded by the Student Startup Innovation Policy. And as you, when I saw the Three Idiots movie, we all know that scene when the drone is flown and then the feed is shown in the TV. So from since then I had the dream to build a drone, and finally, thanks to Bhargav sir and SSIP, I fulfilled that dream. As you can see, we can see our BVM college from top. We got this feed in camera. So that was a great moment for me. So if I can do this, trust me, you all guys can also do that. So I would like to end with a quote, which was my favorite quote throughout the engineering life. That is that you never lose. You either win or you learn. So don't be afraid in taking part in such competitions or taking part in anything that I may lose, or I will be facing mockery or anything. Don't think about that. You all, whenever you participate in something, you never lose. You either win or you learn something. So it's a win-win situation only. It will always help you in the long term. So please participate, and please don't hesitate thinking that what happens if I lose. So thank you. That's it from my side. Please feel free to reach out to me on this email ID or in LinkedIn. I will pass out this PPT. The LinkedIn link is embedded there. And also, you can text me if you have my number. I will circulate the number. So you can call me anytime. I would be more than happy to guide you. And all the best to all the juniors. I really wish to see that after a few years on LinkedIn, I wish to see the update from EC department that our juniors are winning e-Yantra, our juniors are winning Robocon and such competition. So all the best to all of you. And I would like to thank Bhargav sir, Robinson sir, and Gansham sir for giving me this opportunity. Uh, I am absolutely humbled and delighted to deliver this. As I mentioned that I saw Maiz Malik Bhai doing this presentation, and it was my dream to give such presentation when I pass out, and finally I got this opportunity. So thank you very much for providing me this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ritik, for wonderful presentation. Indeed, we exceed the limitation of time what we defined, but I confidently say the time which both the students have spared, it's valuable. The student who is remain present till now, I can assure you, you have invested your time. Believe me, you have invested your time. You have not wasted at all. So those maybe have, I think I saw around 30, 37 was there. Now 27 is there. So I don't know the 10 student what happened, but 27 who is right now present, I can assure you, today you have invested your time, and how efficiently you will water this time. How you consider a seed, you put it in the land, how much you will water, nurture it. I can assure you at the foray of engineering, it will grow like anything. And I can assure you, maybe you will be feeling that how excellent both the student have done it. But I can assure you, whatever the suggestion, whatever the guidance your senior has given you, if you have received on the first year of engineering, believe me, if you follow the path, you will do wonders more than that what they have done it. So thank you, Bhargav sir, for thinking about this event, and thank you for the students who remain present. Especially thankful to our final year students, Dwani and Rutvik. Now I like to request Ghanshyam sir to say a few words and say vote of thanks at the end. Ghanshyam.
Before before Ghanshyam sir say something, I would like to just mention that this two students are this sample only. All the final year students are doing marvelous and wonderful. Out of 60 students, almost 24 students are placed. 30 students are going for further studies abroad, and few of them have already started their own startup. So these two students are just a sample, because we thought of conducting a 30-minute session, but really from bottom of my heart, I'm very much thankful to both of them, Rutvik and Dhwani. They have shared the journey of 4 years in just 30 minutes. So although both of them have taken 30 minutes, but it seems that they should go on and continue discussing. So really thankful for sharing their valuable inputs to first year student. And of course, once you are going in this path, you will be learning a lot. And that's what we want, that by simply studying within four walls of classroom or this kind of thing is not going to helpful. If you look at your timetable, your weekly timetable is just 24 hours. The reason why it is reduced to 24 hours, because in the remaining time you would be able to do some solving real problem, rather than simply learning on the time. You need to go out, you need to come out, and you need to provide some innovative solutions, and that is what we want from you. And interdisciplinary approach is very much the need of time, and you should never limit yourself that I am EC engineering student, so I will not look into this. So whenever you are looking for some solution, you need to have your interdisciplinary approach, and that is going to help you a lot. So I request Ghanshyam sir to share the feedback form as well as have their opinion. Ghanshyam sir.
Thank you, Bhargav sir. Actually, I am not able to share the feedback form here. I already developed a link. I WhatsApp you, sir, the same link. It might be possible that I don't have right to share the things from like a message or something kind of thing. So I tried to find it out, but I cannot able to see any message send option here. So I WhatsApp you, sir, the same link, feedback form. You can share from your side, even you can share at the team message. And yes, regarding today's event, I personally believe that whatever students are doing throughout their 4 years, like we are having on.
Just a minute. I have
Yes, sir.
already shared the link for the feedback. Students are requested to please feel free to just give 2 to 3 minutes time to write your feedback about this. Yes, yes, sir. Ghanshyam sir,
Yeah.
continue.
Yes, sir. So we have a opportunity to hear Dhwani and Rutvik. So it was really a wonderful presentation from both of you. You have said each and everything, like by heart. You have said everything with your friends, or you, I can say your junior students. So this is really wonderful thing that you are excited to share the things, and you are ready to share, help the students. So thank you both of you for sharing your time, and thanks. I would like to thank our parent institute CVM, our PVM college, our principal sir, our head of the department, even Robin sir, our other faculty members, you student friends, and those final year students, those who have presented the things. So I thank you, all of you, for being with us for this event. I sure that you will definitely go forward regarding this technological aspects for learning the new skill, new technology. And as per Bhargav sir said, you spare few minutes to give a feedback. And at the end, thank you very much once again. All of you, take care of yourself.
Ghanshyam sir,
Yes, yes, sir.
Sir,
time to fill the form is over, so please extend the time.
Sir, pardon, sir, what you are saying, sir?
Some student has written that the time to fill the form is over. So please look at the timing.
Okay,
So please extend the time so that student will be able to fill the same.
okay. I just need to do that, sir. Okay, okay.
sir,
I
I would
just,
like to say something.
yes, yes,
Yes,
please.
yes. Go
So, just a bit of an advice for students. Like, I'm not old enough to say that, but the thing is that don't be afraid if you fail. So like if you fail in any sort of activities or events or any other, competitions or something. It only gives you an opportunity to, apply or, participate once more. So even if you have failed once, that doesn't mean that you are not capable enough to do something. It You learn that what sort of things that were lacking at that time, and that would help you, achieve again and again. So that is one thing I would just wanted to share, and like I thought I didn't share during my presentation. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Uh, for the students, just like to
Sir,
inform.
I have I have a
Uh,
question for Rutvik.
Yes,
okay.
please. We'll wind it up within few minutes. You can ask the question, please, quickly.
Yes, sir. So, sir, I wanted to ask that he mentioned something about getting a student license for MATLAB.
Yeah.
So can he please guide me through the process?
Yeah, so you can contact me on email or in LinkedIn. I will, it's a long process. I will definitely guide you that.
Sure, I have mailed you the same thing. Please, can you check it right now?
I will do that.
Okay, just to inform the students, the both the presentation we will collect and share with you through either the WhatsApp first year counseling group we have. So I think Sandeep sir and me will share with you. At the same time, the contact number, email ID we will be mentioning. The LinkedIn profile also will be mentioning. So you can contact both the your seniors at any time, and they will be happy to help you at any time. Okay, thank you.
Yes, the form is resumed once again. You can fill up the feedback form, and thank you, students, for being with us on this day. And take care of yourself during this pandemic situation. Stay home, stay safe. Don't forget to fill the feedback form. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Robinson sir and Ghansam sir. In a short notice, we have arranged this. So thank you once again. I thank all the students for this elongated session, because we have scheduled the teaching learning session from 3 to 5. But I took the opportunity to highlight this importance of today's day, that is technological day, and we have grabbed the opportunity to listen from your seniors. So thank you all once again. With this, we conclude today's session.